I want to say hello to everybody that is a part of the Build Your Best Life family. Today, we're having another episode of Conversation with the Guys. It is the November episode, and we have a topic that is powerful and informational. And anyone who has a young individual, a young son who needs to hear this message, please call him, sit him down, and ask him to watch this. Our topic this month is Young Black Kings Thriving Despite the Statistics. And so, before we actually dive into the actual topic, I like to allow everybody who's on the platform, who's going to be giving their input today, to introduce themselves. We have a regular here, Coach Wilbon. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh, okay. My name is Coach Dr. Wilbon. And before I go any further, I want to thank God for waking me up and allowing me to be in here to be on this podcast, with these young men. I want to also thank Deborah Smith, Coach Deborah Smith, and Coach Ricardo Miller for all the information, all the things that they instilled in me, in being on this podcast. I've been on this podcast for going on 5 years now. So, I'm pretty much, family here. My name is Coach Dr. Kevin Wilbon. I'm a coach. I'm an author of 5 books. I'm a motivational speaker. I'm also an athletic coach. And I've been in the military for 24 years. I'm a retired military veteran, Army veteran for 24 years. And just want to say I have 5 degrees. I have an associate's degree in general studies. I have a BS in management. I have a master's in business. I have an MBA and a master's also in business administration. And I have a doctorate in education. So I just wanted to say that this is a great day to be out here and doing what we do. I've been married for 29 years. I got 3 boys. They range from 18 to 38, with my youngest, being recruited and accepted to Columbia University. His name is Christian Wilbon. So I'm ready to get into this thing and I'm ready to do it. Let's go.
Great introduction. I mean, really, with all those credentials, you really can just do this by yourself. So I'm
No,
going to go ahead and log off and
Seriously.
let you have it, okay?
Seriously.
Okay, so next we have none other than somebody who's not monthly, but he's gonna show up and show out regularly. Whenever he's called upon, he's gonna come and he's gonna bring some valuable information to the Build Your Best platform. And none other than Sean Smith. Please introduce yourself.
Good morning, guys. Good to be on the show again. My name is Sean Smith. I live in the Dallas Fort Worth area. I am owner of Party DJ Dallas, which is a small entertainment company here in the Dallas area. I'm originally from the Bahamas, and really want to thank Coach Deborah for having me. And I am a good friend of Coach Ricardo Miller, and so whenever I'm asked to come and share, I am delighted and elated and just I'm here. So thank you guys for having me, and let's get it on. I'm ready to rumble.
I, I apologize for putting you behind Coach Wilburn with all those credentials, but
Dang.
there you go with that. Don't even start.
everybody, gonna bring their own perspective, which
Yeah, yeah.
everybody has their own value. And next, I have one of my dear friends, somebody I personally introduced to the Build Your Best Life platform. Somebody who's really killing it here in the city, financially, in ministry, in so many different ways. I'm not gonna steal his thunder, so if you will, Cordero, please introduce yourself.
Man, appreciate you, brother, for having me. For everyone that's on tuning in, I'm Cordero, and I'm in the restoration business, man. In order to restore anything, I believe in restoring yourself first, and so that's what I did. I did the work on me, and I tell a lot of people, man, you got God, you can do anything, and all I did was say yes. I've been taking everything one step at a time. One of my mottos is I'm big on building. So what I believe in is if I can't build with you, I can't chill with you. And in our organization as a people, we can't lock in with people that we ain't building nothing together. And you got to compound your interest because if you ain't a plus one, you're definitely a minus one. But if you get the right people, you get your goals accomplished and work together, you can just get stuff done. And so I'm based out of Terrell, but I'm all over Dallas. And so I'm big on working together with people. So shout out to you again, Derek, for having me on here. And yeah, I got a series of things from credit restoration, real estate, podcasts, and I'm big on collaboration because I don't compete with anybody, man. It's collaboration over competition. And that's me in a nutshell. Kingdom builder, not a kingdom killer. That's
No,
that.
that's right.
Okay.
I told y'all, anybody I'll bring
Okay.
on this platform gonna bring some heat.
Okay.
And so,
No napkins. You can have it.
no, that's right. So, guys, let's really lock in right now and let's look at this topic.
Mhm.
Again, we're talking to the young guys, young black kings, and we're telling them, and we're talking about the conversation of thriving despite the statistics. If you will, Cordero, kick us off. Let's talk about the dynamic of being what is a black king in today's time.
It's good. I always say you got to focus on thriving and not surviving. So me, I grew up in the projects, right? So we thought back then the person of success was a dope dealer, had multiple cars, whatever it was. And what I had to do was, in order to understand what a king was, it was the mindset. And then I also learned your environment. Shout out to Pastor Willis because he took me into a resort when I was around about 12 years old when I lost my mother. So he took me to this resort. And I always had a big imagination. So me seeing that, I was able to think my way out of different things. So even when I go into the world, when it says, so a man thinketh, so is he. So a lot of times it's your environment, what you expose yourself to. And then it's the decisions we make because we all know good habits. Well, habits are easy to pick up. They're hard to put down. So you got to learn how to differentiate what's good and what's a bad habit. So a lot of times, man, I tell people you gotta your circle matters too. The company you keep can either keep you in trouble or I can keep you in some great things that'll change your life because we know how this goes. You can either go left or right, and that left can cost you a lifetime of trouble, or that right can change your life like it did mine. So when I hear the word king, man, the king is a mindset. The king is your habits. King is your circle. And the king is what's in your heart, what's in your mindset, and what are you pouring into your spirit? Because your eye gate and ear gate is two of the most powerful things on you.
Good word, bro.
Yeah.
Uh, Definitely understanding your environment, the
Mhm.
people that you have around you, and the decisions you make definitely puts you in a position to walk in your kingship. Sean, if you would, what does it, from your perspective, what does it look like to be a black king in today's time?
Good question. A black king in today's time, really and truly, is someone who is a cut above. For me, I was so blessed to have my my nucleus around me growing up. I had my father, my grandfather, my uncles, and they kind of showed me what it was to be a man and to be a king. And so when I think about that, I think about them and what they instilled in me, and then not just that, but how I went out and was able to do it, and what I did in terms of, in spite of my society, in spite of all the stuff that was going on around me, all the noise. Sometimes you gotta be like that racehorse. Got to put on those blinders and just stay focused. So being a king to me is really and truly living up to what they put in me, and then trying to be better than that, trying to really excel and try to do things different. I'm not just one of the crowd. I don't follow the crowd. I'm a leader. I'm a pace setter. You know, so being a king is being a cut above. For me, growing up, I was taught early as a young man, when you're going out in the evening, especially during the wintertime, wear a jacket, wear a blazer. So just little stuff like that. But it was instilled in me from my environment. Back to what Claudero was saying, from my environment, I had good environment when I was growing up in the Bahamas.
For sure. Um, Coach Wilburn,
Yeah.
what does it look like to be a black king in today's time?
Well, you know what's funny that we're talking about this subject because I've always talked to um, my players and I talk to my sons and stuff about being, a king. we're talking about being kings and queens and stuff like that. And to me, as far as being a king, I always say, a king is someone that's confident in his abilities. You know what I'm saying? They know how to face, you know, stereotypes, negativity and the whole 9 yards. And, also achieving goals that they need to, do whatever they want to do to try to make a positive impact on the world. So, they have no fear. Also, I think that they have to have that confidence in all abilities that they have, and want to take on, the title of being a role model. So my thing is, regardless of the, socioeconomic backgrounds or historically adversities and stuff that's going on, you know, you have to face leadership and responsibility of being a king. So being a king to me is all of those things wrapped up in one. So it's not just one thing, and it's just being a king. And you have to take on a whole lot of realms in this world, but it's achievable. You can do it. You know, just have no fear. Just go out there and walk the way that you want to walk, and don't let nobody tell you that you can't do something. So that's my take on being a king, a young man being a king.
It's good that you said what you just said at the end about being yourself. So
That's
my
right.
next question is, how do you stay true to yourself despite the stereotypes, despite of what society says? How do you as a young black man stay true to your kingship despite everything that's going on around you? If you would, Sean, take us with that one.
Yeah, I, you know, I think it's going back to what I said in terms of putting on blinders. We're my mom always used to say, we're in this world, but we're not off this world. And I know it's difficult as just individuals uh, trying to just maneuver through this world, but you have to find yourself first. Once you find yourself and you know yourself, then the rest is kind of easy, because if I know myself, I know that I'm not good in certain environments. I'm not going to allow myself to go in those environments, because I'm not gonna survive. I'm not gonna thrive. So once you know yourself, I think the rest is kind of easy. Now, the thing is, getting to know who you are and whose you are, important. Once you find out who you are and whose you are, the rest can be easy. It does come along with some hard work, and this word that I think a lot of people don't use a lot anymore: discipline. Discipline. You have to have discipline. You have to know when to walk away from certain environments, certain people, certain things. But it comes along with discipline. I know it's a lot of pressure out there, but with the right discipline and knowing whose you are, it's achievable.
Good word. Because it's definitely achievable. Um, Coach Wilborn, what does it take to stay true to yourself in today's time, despite the stereotypes, despite what society says? Um, what does it really take?
You know what? I'm gonna piggyback a little bit off of what Sean said, because what Sean said makes a whole lot of sense. You know, and being true to yourself, you have to learn to actually say no to a lot of things. Politely just say, decline, the requests of, different activities that conflict with your values and, and your needs and interests without feeling guilty. And don't feel guilty about it. Just stick on and stay on what you say, and back up the things that you need to do. Voice your opinions and your preferences and, and things like that. And make sure, you communicate effectively. And if you can communicate effectively, especially when you're faced with pressure or judgments and stuff like that, you know, give them your viewpoint. You know what I'm saying? If people care about you, they'll want you to be happy and fulfilled. If they don't care about you, you can tell. But my thing is, in staying true to yourself, stay in your ground. Make sure that everything that you're standing on, you firmly believe in, and don't let nobody change you or change your mind. And that's how you stay true to yourself.
Hey,
Man, so many powerful points you just said. And Cordero, I want you to kind of touch on the same thing, but he said something. what do you, and staying true to yourself, what do you do when the people close to you say they don't believe in you? What do you do when the people closest to you doubt your possibilities? Um, and staying true to yourself, what do you do in those tough times when the people around you are not truly supporting you?
So that's a great question. I remember I always say this too. You can't share your vision with blind people. They can't see it no way, right? I remember one time I gave a quick little rundown to some of my family members when I started doing credit, and I was just trying to learn the basic fundamental finance, and I used to watch everything. And so I had this example. I was like, look, man, y'all getting these cars every year. You paying almost 650 a month, full coverage insurance. I said, why don't you just get a car and pay it off? Next year you have one, or the year and a half, you'll have two or three vehicles. So they didn't see the vision. So in a 2 year span, I ended up getting three cash cars. And of course, they also are trying to rally around me and all this other stuff. But I said, no, y'all didn't see the vision. I can't give you anything. And so another powerful thing I started doing, I started speaking to my circle, because people got to know, man, whatever your root is and whatever's in your core is going to manifest. So, like, my core is God. I tell them the recipe to me is God. Am I perfect? No, but I know how to speak. That's why you say call things that be not as though they were. I start speaking to my circle. I'm literally watching TV, and I was like, man, I would love to talk to this person. I go out to an event, this person walks right in my face. Now I got their phone number, and now we're business partners. So it shows you got to push through the nonsense. You got to kill negative Nancy and down Thomas. And sometimes it may seem lonely, but if you got God and speak, he will be the journey, and he will also be the destination and show you when you arrive. Because when you're around the right people, right things happen. When you're in a room of intelligent people, ignorance is never present. So a lot of times you literally have to move in silence, because what you don't want to do is have them destroy your blessing. If you share that sometimes, and it sucked because I had to go through it. Man, it was so long. I couldn't say anything, and I wanted to say something so bad, but then I would hear guys say you can't share that with them because they either gonna speak against it or they gonna have something negative to say. And when you got something pure and good, you can never let nobody crazy contaminate that. You got to be very mindful and careful of that too, because you can have a good ideal, a great ideal, and then in a split second you can kill it.
Yeah, that reminds me of the statement: the fastest way to kill a big dream is to tell it to a small mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta,
Hey,
got to
and
guard your heart.
a certified food.
Too much on the handle.
Yeah,
Yeah, so like that leads into the next question. Like all of the negative influences, we have people on social media saying do this. We have people saying don't do that, and it's just so many quote unquote gurus on social media. It's so many gurus in our family who have not even accomplished the things that we're trying to accomplish, but they got all the advice in the world.
man.
What like so? How do we overcome that? I know you kind of touched on it a little bit, Cordero, but like in today's time, even with the young kings, they have their homeboys that's telling them, or they listening, they influenced by the music, the drill music. They're influenced by so much. How do they battle all these different things and get on and stay on the right path? I'll let you start us off with that, Coach Wilborn.
Okay, for that question there, I think, in order to rise above negative influences, I think that first of all, you need to know your value. Define your personal values and beliefs, and make sure that serves as a guide, for all the decisions that you plan on making. Be assertive, express your thoughts. And if you express your thoughts and your boundaries, when you're facing the opposition, then I mean, what can they say? A lot of times, you pretty much know more than who you're talking to, but they may be faking and acting like they do. But if you know exactly what you need to know, then it doesn't even matter. And also increase your self-esteem. Make sure your self-esteem is high. You know, feel comfortable and happy with who you are. And if you do that, you can't be swayed by others because you're standing on what you really firmly believe. So I would say that, make sure you build a strong case for self-esteem. And if you can do that and know yourself, then you'll be good. You'll be okay.
Yes, great message. And me, I teach the 5P principle. And the first P I teach is purpose. Because once you understand your purpose, you know what your priorities are. If it's not in line with your purpose, then you know you're not supposed to be doing it.
Right.
If it is in line with your purpose, then you know you should be doing it. So when I heard what you said, the first thing that popped into my mind is the first P of the 5P principle. And the crazy part about it is called the 5P framework of thriving through transition. And so when I think about that, that purpose is the foundation, and everything else springs from that. And so once you have that correct purpose, that foundation, then you can really uh, avoid so many negative influences because it won't be in line with that purpose. Sean, how does a young individual, any individual really, uh, work through those negative influences, whether it be friends, whether it be family, whether it be social media, whether it be the music or the stuff that we watch on TV? How do we work through those negative influences and stay on track and really be the person who we truly desire to be?
I'll tell you how I work through it. For me, it was always prayer, and for me, it was always getting my head quiet or getting my mind quiet, going somewhere and just meditating, and then too, uh, I've been so blessed to have real great men in my life, and not just from my core family, my dad, my uncles, and my cousins, but I had some men of God in my life who kind of helped mold me. So definitely, coach always says that, you know, there's always someone out there to help you who's assigned to you. And so
Yeah.
if you find that one person or that two persons that when you're going through tough times that is praying with you and praying for you, I think that helps as well because we're not on this we're not on this rock alone. So finding someone that is pouring into you, it kind of helps as well, because you know it can get rough. Peer pressure is real,
Mm-hmm.
but if you have people who are praying with you and praying for you, and people that you can bounce stuff off, who sometimes they just listen. They don't even say, "Well, that's the right thing to do or wrong thing to do." Sometimes they just listen or ask you key questions. Well, how is that going to work? It's a good question. How's that going to work? And then are you did you hear what you just told me? Because sometimes as young people, we just think that we're gonna get it just like that. It's gonna come instant. But you have to have people in your life or a person in your life who is praying with you, and praying for you, and who will be true to you, who's not gonna sugarcoat it, who's gonna tell you when you're jacking up, you know. Uh, so that's how I got through my teenage years and my early 20s by having good people, good foundation, uh, and people who still today praying for me and praying with me.
Yes, sir. Uh,
Surrounding yourself with positive people makes a big difference, you know, and try to get away from all that negativity. But positive people will keep you uplifted and making sure that you're going into the right direction. So what he's
Definitely.
very, very key in being around people, that's going to help you, uplift you. So I say, surround yourself with positive people.
And sometimes shut out the noise. I don't certain things on TV I don't watch.
Hmm.
Right.
You know, I I don't watch it. I don't want it to go into my spirit. Certain things I don't watch. I'm a DJ, but certain music I don't really care for.
Right.
I play it, but I don't care for it. You know. So yeah, be watch what you put into your spirit.
Oh yeah, I'm big on that because once you pay attention to what's real, that's when discernment kicks in too for me. I always say you got to know who finessing with ranch dressing because everybody ain't no influencer, and if they
Yeah,
are influencer, it's either good or bad. Because you always hear this saying, "Fair exchange ain't robbery." Well, you better make sure it's a fair exchange because if not, you getting robbed.
yeah,
And
Exactly.
from
Yep.
the pulpit to the from the pulpit to the conference room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, and that's the thing, man. A lot of time people don't read their word. You hear people say give 10 people to give $100. I said, well, reach our word, man. I'm not gonna bash anyone. The Bible says study the word to show thyself approved. You got a lot of people moving around like they denied. Uh, they say favor ain't fair. That's a lie, because if you know the word, we all know favor is fair. Favor is a law. If you don't understand the law, you'll never experience it. And then it depends on where you classify things. And I'm big on the block party. If things ain't um in my alignment, then it's not a part of my assignment. So I block it out. I block that, people, places, and things, especially if it's not good. Because once you have laser focus and you paying attention to what's in front of you, you have no business moving in reverse. If you going 100 miles an hour and you look behind you at 1 second, you can tear everything up in front of you. So
Mm-hmm.
you pay attention to your mission vision and make sure people ain't blurring your vision. And then you got to get around other people who can see as well, because eagles hang with eagles, not peacocks and turkeys. The wings look good, but the altitude different.
If you want to fly, you can't say with chickens.
No, no, no. If you want to soar, you dang sure can't go with them.
Yeah.
You gonna kill yourself trying to lower your altitude for somebody who ain't there yet
Mm.
Got to be strong. You can't fly on one wing.
at all. You need two of them. Need to be the wind beneath your wings, not
Yep.
scissors, and they flipping you, and
That's
you
right.
now held back instead of held up. You hear me?
Sure. And so we
And,
talked
and I'll tell
about,
young and I'll tell young and I'll tell young people, it's not gonna come overnight. It's not gonna come just like that, because it's a lot of discipline, and it's gonna be a lot of falling down. But don't stay down. Get up, brush yourself off, and keep moving. Because we're not here because this happened to us overnight. It took a lot of trial and error, but we're still moving, because that's what life is about. Is progress. Every day is a journey. And you said something earlier this morning, Derek, when you came on, about the journey. What did you say this morning about the journey?
oh, I just said that I'm enjoying the journey just as much as I am going to get to the destination.
That's right.
There you go.
That's
But you
right.
know what though, and what a lot of people fail to realize, this thing starts at a young age. You don't wait until they become a teen to try to enforce this or try to talk to them about this. You gradually do this through childhood. You know what I'm saying? When they're young, and teach them the ins and outs, the rights and wrongs. Teach them what's positive and what's negative, the whole 9 yards. And today, the world that we're living in today, you got to start them off younger now because of all the stuff, all the negative stuff that's going on out there. You know what I'm saying? Because they're going to see it anyway. Because now they're putting stuff on TV that shouldn't even be on TV. Things we would never saw on TV when we were young.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about negative things.
Oh yeah.
They
You tell-
think it's positive because they're trying to sell it. But then we got our kids looking at this stuff and they're like, what's going on here?
I just
So,
talked about that yesterday, man. You got all this all these agendas, and we
yeah,
we didn't see back in the day. They was in a closet walking on
exactly.
Front Street, and they got a whole month in rules. So I tell people, man, you just got to be mindful and educate them along the way.
Exactly.
What's behind the curtain now ain't no more curtain.
Yeah.
Uh-uh.
It's stage. It's front stage.
That's right.
And marketing is powerful. A lot of it is just marketing to get you to do what you want to do. I tell people, it's like walking in a food store, in the grocery shop. They
Mhm.
get you to go where they want you to go by how they have the store set up. And
Right.
and just like rabbits, that's what you do.
Hmm.
That's what you
Exactly.
do.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's get back to some practical stuff. We talked about how they can overcome their negative influences, how they can overcome some of the negative environments. Let's give them some practical skills, something tangible, some practical skills, techniques that they can apply to their life in order to really thrive in being who they're supposed to be. Who would like to start that one off?
I started out, especially when we're talking about in the 21st century. Okay. So, got to have critical thinking. That's the first thing that I would say. They got to have that ability to analyze, information, and they got to do it objectively. You know what I'm saying? They need to know how to solve problems in the whole 9 yards. And
Hmm.
and if they do that, because if they do that, then they wouldn't have it wouldn't be so crucial, for their career, their growth, their personal growth. So that's the first thing I would say. Also communication is key. I say communication and collaboration. They got to develop strong professional communication because the world that we're living in is verbal and it's digital now. So they got to be able to do that, and they got to be able to make sure that in the environment that they're in, they're conducive to it, and they'll be able to thrive in the environment that they're in. So, as far as trying to make sure that they thrive today, I mean, it's so much that's going on out there. We could be here talking about it all day long,
Mhm.
about what's going on. But like I say, I always say communication and collaboration.
Yes,
That's what
sir.
communication and collaboration.
So I'll go next. We have two ears and one mouth. So a lot of times you need to listen more than you talk.
And
Yes.
there you go. Yeah.
Another thing that what works for me was sometimes just a smile. You walk into a room, you stick your hand out and you smile. Hi, my name is Joe. Hi, my name is Frank. And that kind of breaks down walls as well, especially when you walk into rooms that you might be the only person that look like you. And it goes back to what Coach said in terms of being able to communicate. You have to have soft skills and you have to have hard skills. Soft skills is definitely communication, verbally, being able to write well, and then hard skills. And this might sound tough, but when I was growing up, my uncles and cousins and stuff like that during the summer, we had to go and work either as painters or carpenters or as plumbers, whoever family member had those businesses. That's where we worked. That's where we learned our hard skills. And sometimes too, you learn your soft skills from your summer job. So always have a hard skill. Learn how to do something with your hands, either electrical, plumbing, something, and that'll carry you a long way. When someone comes and at that 9 to 5 and yug the rug from under you, you'll have something to fall back on. You'll have a skill that you can go and still produce. Uh, yeah, that's my two.
I love it,
Is
bro.
thank you for explaining the difference between hard skills and soft skills. Somebody might not have really knew that, but by you clarifying that, it gave them a different perspective. Cordero,
Good.
what are some of the tangible skills that a young individual can focus on and develop in order to thrive in today's time?
I always call it the three S's. It's a system, software, and strategy. Sometimes if you don't have the digital software, your relationships is the new currency. So if you want something now, it's more easier than it was 10, 15 years ago. You can literally look on a app, Eventbrite, and see, okay, if I want to learn this specific thing, you can literally put it in a search column and they got a group of people that's doing the same thing. So then I learned, okay, your circle will get you there. The question is, what circle are you in? Then do the work. As you get money, people invest. I tell people this: invest in your vision and in those around you. I don't care if it's $20, $40. You got to invest because a lot of times what happens is, um, we watch these bad habits, right? And I watch people too because I'm with their finance. We'll go to the stores. We'll go to these other names that's not ours, and you fund that name, but you won't fund your own name. So that when you're first coming in, that's what I started doing. I said, let me take care of my personal name first, and then let me just, get my feet wet and just have conversation. Because conversation rules the nation, but it also create compensation. In order
Wow.
to get paid for something for a fee, you got to also find out how to do it for free. Because when you do it for free and you actually helping people, it will pay off and then it becomes a fee. You graduate and take the R off, right? So I started doing that mode and then listening to people's problem and having a solution. That's what I tell people. When you find problems and you have solutions, that creates currency. Then when you help them and get the results, because in a black community, especially right now, results matter. Care what nobody says. Who don't like results?
Right.
Everybody gonna have something to say. Like, okay, I don't like McDonald's. The line's still on. I don't eat Popeyes. The line's still on. We do so much free marketing. Popeyes didn't pay you to tell your friend how good that chicken sandwich was, and they went. But when we talk about marketing, that's a pyramid scheme. It's not a pyramid scheme. You work for a pyramid scheme. Your boss will never pay you enough to be his neighbor. So in order to be sharp, I add this last piece. In order to be a sharp piece of metal or iron, because iron sharpen iron, you can't keep hiding being close to wood. Because if you're the only one cutting, after a while, you become dull too. So you got to get around people that's smarter than you and that's willing to help. Because we know what gatekeepers are. But when you got favor, God to get you in anyway. You just got to be diligent enough to see it through. A lot of times people get to be right there close to their um right there close to their blessing, and they'll let something just knock them off. You got to have your vision locked in so to where it almost seemed like you tripping. Like, man, you crazy. You know how many times I got called weird or they didn't see it, and then when I got the results, they started pulling on me. They not only they started pulling on me, they started paying me. I couldn't I tripped out at first. I was like, why they keep asking me this? And they was the same people pushing me away. But that shows you something, right? If I didn't see that through, they wouldn't have saw it either. So sometimes you have to go out to the ocean and get a yacht, and when you come back, you got to see who worthy of getting on ship because the your ship is everything, whether it's a relationship, friendship, or business ship, and the wrong puncture can sink that ship.
That's good.
You
That's
said you
more than
said
good.
That is
yeah,
good.
you said a mouthful there, and you said something that I want to add on to. Sometimes if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
And I'm telling you, it's draining.
Yeah. Because they're
I
not
try
gonna get
to feel
they're not
horrible.
everything gonna go over top of their head. They're not gonna
Oh,
get
and I'm gonna add this last piece. I tell people learn how to serve. My motto is when you serve, you get what you deserve. My
Mm,
biggest blessing came because I showed up for somebody and I served too. I've literally served my way up to where I'm at now. I didn't come in with no expectation. I just came in serving. When I came in serving, I started having conversations. I got 15 clients at an event one time because I came serving in the background. It was like, who are you? What are you doing? I'm like, man, I'm just carrying this equipment for this person and doing videos for them. They were like, yeah, but what do you do though? And then they stayed on me the whole time. And then me helping this person, they ended up getting a house and some other stuff. And so when people will ask me this stuff, I'm like, listen, y'all, learn how to be a servant and learn how to show up for others. But watch this, the last piece. Don't leave yourself out. You can't go on a buffet line with one and you ain't got no plate and you see everybody else serving. You tripping.
for sure. You said you dropped so many jewels just in that short period
Lord.
of time.
Yes,
And
sir.
but what I want to talk about is you said invest in other people. You recently came to my AI event, and you're not just saying this, you did it.
Hmm.
You paid for me to coach somebody else on learning how to do prompting. And that's what I think that's one thing that we really miss a lot. We have so many people giving so much advice, but how many of them are actually living that advice out?
Right.
And what I
Yeah.
can say is I have seen you live out the fact of you say investing in other people. Because when you did come to my AI event, you invested in somebody else learning how to do AI prompting. So I definitely want to commend you on that. Uh, so let's get to this next question. We kind of talked about it a little bit, we kind of skimmed over it, but let's dive into the importance of mentors, the importance of certain individual teachers, the importance of other individuals who can pour into these children's lives. What what is the importance of having these individuals in their lives? Sean, you kind of talked about two ears, one mouth. Uh, what is the importance of having the right people, the right mentors, the right teachers in your life?
Oh, for me, it was super important. One of the things that my mentors showed me, they they showed me everyday life, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Life ain't fair, and everything ain't gonna go your way. And they didn't sugarcoat it. You know, many a nights, I saw men crying because they were hurt. and that helps me to understand it's all right to cry. And when you go through life, you're gonna have a little hurt, but you're gonna get through it. So having mentors who are true and who shows you the good, the bad, and the ugly is very, very important. Uh, Sometimes you see it is a reggae song that artist I like, Buju Banton, and one of his songs he said, "You see the glamour and the glitter, and we think it's a bed of rose, but only who feels it knows." Uh, Very important to show people the whole gamut rather than you know as sometimes people only want to show you the good. They only want to show you the good times. They don't want to tell you it's going to be hard. It's going to be bumps and bruises, but you're going to make through it. And so it's important to have real mentors who are going to tell you the truth and who's going to tell you the whole truth, nothing but the truth, and who's going to show you everything. And then you'll be able to make better decisions if you have the whole story. So having mentors who are real is so important, and it's gonna really, really impact young man's life for the better.
For sure.
Yes, sir.
You really kind of touched on a topic that indirectly, what I heard was mental health. Um, and I kind of want to go off a little bit of the script. Um, and I want Kadera, I want you to answer this question because it's, it's, it's prevalent right now, mental health. When we
Hmm.
talk about men, black men, young black men, mental health has been one of those things that's been coming up real regularly. Because you're in the area, I would have asked Coach Wilborn if you're in the area and you were able to hear about the Dallas Cowboy that took his life.
Yeah.
Um, Both of y'all can kind of talk about the importance of mental health because it ties in because um, we're talking about teachers, we're talking about mentors, but it also comes to role models.
Yeah.
Sometimes we look up to certain individuals and they have major impact um, on our lives and how they guide us along the way. If you would, Coach Wilburn, you said you heard about it a little bit, so you can
Yeah.
start it off. And Cordero, we're going to come to you. We're going to talk a little bit about the mental health, especially of us as black men and also the young black boys. If you would, Coach Wilburn, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I did hear about what happened with the football player from Dallas, you know, Dallas Cowboys, and a lot of people didn't know, especially up in this area, exactly what happened. And we, finally found out that he did, in fact, committed suicide. And I want to go back to, when he before he was drafted and his mom had passed away. Right then and there, someone should have been actually, talking to this guy, keeping a close eye on this young man, trying to figure out, how he's feeling, what he's going through. Because from what I understand, it stemmed through that. And I don't care if sports, I don't care what you're into, you can fall into that trap of having a mental breakdown, or anything like that. No matter what you do, it can be sports, it can be school, it can be anything, but the thing is, it's hard to really, really detect because what looked like it's okay may not be okay. But that's one of the things that I did get from this. And mental health is real. It's real because my son said something to me the other day, the one that's up in Columbia University, the Ivy League school. So it's a different animal from coming. He's coming from public school. He didn't even come from, a school, the private school. That's what I want to say. He didn't come from the private schools where, quote unquote, they give you the best teachers in the whole 9 yards. And to me, that's a myth. I think that if you're a good teacher, you can be a good teacher no matter if you're in public school or private school. I think it's all about money and perception. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying, he's up at Columbia University, and he was like, "Dad, this is a lot. I'm coming from a public school. They didn't teach me this, and I need a break because it's mental in the whole 9 yards. So that put that clicked on a green light for me. So what I told him was, "Are you okay? What's going on? Talk to me about it. Don't keep it bottled up. Talk to someone about it." So that makes a big difference to me. If somebody telling me, I'm getting frustrated, or it's a lot, you really need to speak to them and talk to them about them, their mental capacity. So that's something that's very, very important. And it's not just, like I said, not just in sports or school. It's period. If you see any kind of red flag, you need to have them sit down and talk to you, or talk to someone in regards, to your mental. So that's something that's very real, it's prevalent, and it's getting worse day by day. So if anybody that's out here listening to this, if you see any kind of red flag, if somebody tell you I'm tired,
Mhm.
or I'm frustrated, or this is too much, please talk to them, and try to get to the deep and the root and the heart of what's going on with them, because we don't know, at any time they could snap.
Yeah.
Cordero, you want to add to that?
Yeah. So I went through that mental. I lost a lot of people early. I lost my mom at 12. Um, 6 months later, I lost my grandmother, and I lost one of my aunts when I was 8. So I had rage early on. Like I couldn't take mama jokes. I'm fighting and everything. And it took a village of people for me to get healed. Right. When I did that, I started learning like emotional intelligence. The people around you, are they people of strength? Are they people who I call it? Are they people of weaponry? Do they got knives? Because the tongue is one of the most powerful things in the world. In order for somebody to be triggered, watch this. You got to be around somebody who pulling the trigger. If they're around you and you know somebody finna light you up, I call it a kaboom. If you know it's a kaboom in the room, why even go? Unfortunately, you have to remove yourself from family members, because family members can be triggering. Because I always say, hurt people don't want to heal, and heal people don't want to hurt. It's only if they're willing to do the work. I went and
Mm-hmm.
got the work done on myself, even when I became an adult. Um, got into relationships, and I could feel it before it would come on. I'm like, if I don't catch this, I'm gonna turn into a madman, and I don't want to be mad. As men, we carry so much. You got to know when enough is enough. I had something happen recently, and I had to say, look, I carry things for years. I can't carry nothing else. This is the season I got to carry me. Not saying that I had to say it out of love. But when people don't have that trait, it's not hard to obtain. You just got to get around the people who you know that'll heal you. A hospital, you can go to recover, but a funeral home, you can go if you want to die, and you ain't gonna kill me. So people have to have that mission in their mind, like, bro, I want to live. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to get up out of here. But if you don't pay attention to the small thing, that seed can become a beanstalk. If we know about Jack and the Beanstalk, it started with a small little bitty seed. And most of the time, when people take their life or do something like that, it started out very small, and they never said nothing. That silent killer, man. Men, boy, we be suffering in silence, and you can't do that. You got to have a village of people knowing, man. If I talk to this person, they're not gonna destroy me. If I go over here, it can mess them up. But if I go right here, I'm safe. If I go over here, I feel recovered when I walk away, versus like I done got destroyed. We can't keep hanging around people who bleeding on other people. Hurt people, right? But
Yeah.
heal people, watch this. This is the part they leave out. Heal people, heal people. Man, when I got around a room full of healers and people that was hugging and loving on me, I was like, hold on. I want some more of that. And that
Right.
song, Grandma's Hands, I was raised up by my grandmother. Even though I lost them so early, I remember the love they had on me. That's why I still go to church to this day, because I love worship. I love the power where two or three are gathered. God is in the midst. But I don't care about certain other things, but I love the power of agreement, the power of prayer. Prayer broke a lot of stuff off of me. Um, Being around people of peace, right? For God to give me peace that passes all understanding. I don't understand why this peace is on me, but now I don't want the 3 Ds, I call it: disturb, distract, and destroy. You got to understand, is that God or is that the enemy? Because God ain't gonna want you to kill yourself. God ain't gonna want you to self-destruct. God ain't gonna want you to jump off a bridge. So that's what I say. It goes back to your core. If your core ain't good, you ain't good. And it's okay to say, hey man, I ain't good, I ain't okay. And we play these songs in our head, right? I see women do it a lot too. If you keep playing that same song and you got that same song on repeat, you're gonna start believing that. And there's power in what you speak. Whatever you wake up in the morning and you speak that and you wonder why I keep manifesting crazy, as my grandma used to say, you crazy? You keep saying the same thing. I'm by myself. Oh, I got this. Don't nobody love me. Knowing you got somebody that love you. You're just choosing not to lock in with the healer. And until you tired of stop bleeding, that's on you. You have to make that executive decision in your mind, in your soul. What do I really want? Do I want healing? Do I want to recover? Or do you just want to keep being a hellraiser in a grenade with the pin pulled out, just waiting on any minute to just tick tick kaboom? When I listen to people now, man, because I've helped people heal, I was like, do you like that? Because you keep saying the same thing over and over. And I said, until you're ready, then come to me. Because if you ain't ready to do the work, what's the point of sending somebody to school if they don't want to learn a lesson? Because they talk about L's. I'm gonna get this last little piece. I gave somebody this analogy. I said, if you put two L's together, turn them slightly, that's a W. But you got to learn from that lesson. But if you don't want to learn, then it's on you. And what I learned too now, when I help people like this, man, I said, y'all got to learn how to give each other grace, because once you put it in front of them, their blood ain't on your hand. That's on them. Do they want to recover, or they want to keep beating themselves up?
Hmm. That's good. Good
Real
stuff.
good.
And I
Good
know
stuff.
because I went through it. I'm talking from experience. I ain't make this up. I got tired of being hurt. I got tired of being angry. I want love. I want affection. I want healing. Who don't like me in love? Rub my head, hold me, and if you ain't gonna hold me, I'll get it done. Seriously, I'm a man of the man. Listen, people that's raised by their grandmothers like me, we
Yeah.
different men, bro.
Yeah.
You when you left there, man, them women was hugging on me. I had men crying at that conference because it was
Hmm.
called Women of the Abused. And I told them, hey man, women get healed because you're gonna kill your blessing. A man don't want to hear all that noise. Love on me. Come sit in my lap and hold my head. Don't kiss me in the mouth and then wait a whole bunch of time in between. And now you trying to give us a task. Because love heals. Love ain't got no task. Love don't have no restriction. Hell, if I want to play Ninja Warrior, I'll go to the platform and do it. Put me on no task, man. You love on me. A man that's a man, you love that man. You don't kill that man. And I'm a for sure man that know what I want. See, a lot of people are still confused. You got identity crisis going on. I don't know who you are, your avatar, you're kryptonite, you're ma'am, you're her, you're acronym. Once you figure out who you are, then you got to line that up. That's why I say write the vision and make it plain. Because if you're confused, how can I unravel that? People make that funny when they try to market entanglement. Boy, that ain't funny. You got some stuff to unravel. And I'm not finna do something with my hands that you ain't willing to do with yours.
Yeah.
Mm.
Period.
Wow.
Hey, Sean, you kind of sparked the mental health
Hmm.
uh, topic. So, is there anything you want to add to the mental health topic before we give our last um, words of encouragement?
Going back to what Coach Ricardo says, there's someone assigned to help you. If you're having problems, just I know it's hard. Just ask for help. That's all I'll add to it. Just ask for help. There's someone out there who's willing, ready, and able to help you. Just ask for help.
For sure. And going back to my 5P framework, the fourth P is people. And as I always say, life is not a do it yourself sport. So many times we want to be the strong person. So many times we want to say that we got it, self made, and all these different titles that we try to project a certain level of confidence, a certain level of self strength. But again, we got to go back to that. If we were meant to do it alone, we would be alone. And anybody who says that they're not a people person, you're not really performing at your highest level, because life is all about working with other people at the end of the day. And so, with that, Coach Wilburn,
Hmm.
how can the people reach you? What is your last thoughts? Um, how do you summarize this? What is something that the people who have watched us for the last uh, 55 minutes, what is something they can take away with them and apply to their everyday life?
Okay. And I'm gonna get this. I took this out of my book called "Against All Odds." Okay, and
Mm.
this is a big quote in my book, and I really, really do mean this. Okay, I said there's strength in generations who built futures against impossible odds. Don't
Mm-hmm.
let the limitation of others define your reality. Trust your voice, your vision, and your right to occupancy and space that you use. Your
Mm.
journey is uniquely yours, and success will be measured by resilience and self belief. Okay, so in saying all of that, you just make sure you stand on what you believe, stay around positive people, know that you do matter, know that you do belong. If you do all those things, and it does not necessarily be in that order, you're going to be fine. Whether you're a young black man, young black woman, or a man or a woman, if you do those things, you're going to be fine. And that's what I would tell anybody that's listening today. Stay resilient, stay, upright. Don't let nobody change your mind about anything. Stand on what you believe and be around positive people. That's going to help strengthen you and make sure that you stay on that right.
Yes, sir. Very powerful, very relevant. Sean, how can the people reach you? Um, what is your takeaway? What is some valuable information that um, the listeners here on the Build Your Best Life platform can take away from this conversation and make their lives better?
So my takeaway is that you're not alone in this thing we call this journey we call life. There's always someone. There's someone assigned to help you. People can reach me by going to Party DJ Dallas on Facebook or Instagram. You can hit me up on send me an IM message. But one of the quotes that I like is a quote that I love. This quote. What lies before you, what lies behind you is a thin comparison to what lies in you. So if you believe in yourself and ask for help,
Mm-hmm.
ask for help.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Get that one person or that village around you who can help you,
that's right.
and the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit.
I agree. Definitely agree.
And I'm gonna add to this. I call it my 3 L's. It's love, live, laugh. I love laughing. I'm cracking with y'all earlier. I said, man, put your shirt up, but I appreciate
I button it up too.
because I love laughing. And listen, I know my stuff contagious because when I see y'all show y'all pearly whites, I know Colgate in the back. And I love laughing, man. And I tell people this. This is why I love nature. I was outside one day and I was raking leaves. And when I looked up at this tree, it was like in the wintertime and with no leaves on the tree. And clear as day, I saw this. I say, even the tree know when to drop dead weight and make room for the new to come in. If
Oh,
you want to come in, you have to make room. Expose yourself to whatever it is you want out of life. I remember one time something happened and I felt something coming, but I had a lot of clutter. So I just started cleaning up paths. I was buying little equipment. I didn't even know what I needed it for. The minute I started making room and got a laptop, I started getting speaking engagements. I started getting invites to this. I started buying little vests and stuff. And then doors start opening up. But if I didn't have that mindset to make room for where I was going, the worst thing that happened right now is God give you one of your biggest blessings, and you
he's
ain't
not
even
there.
and you not prepared. Or you asking, I want to help people, and God put you in position to help people, and then you start complaining. There's a difference between complainers and obtainers. You got to make up your mind in this season too, because we don't serve a greedy God. God is not on a budget.
Right.
So why would we think like this when we serve a big God? But the thing is, have a structure, have a sound mind, and be at peace. Because what good is having increase if you ain't got peace? You
Mm,
want you want wealth. I want both. I want to be happy and have it. I don't want to have it and be unhappy. So you got to pay attention. I tell people when you leveling up, you have to watch everything. Because the worst thing in the world is see a four-legged table and something missing, and you talking about you well put together. I know you lying. You got to have structure. You got to have discipline too. Also, you got to have a standard. Nothing wrong with having no standard. If I'm a high value person, why would I deal with a low level person?
That's
A
right.
giraffe and a turtle, a giraffe and a turtle are two land animals, but they got two different point of views. You can't share that with no person playing in the sand. If you want to go out here in the ocean, if there's more fish in the sea, you can get a catfish. I want a great white. I need to go find Free Willy. And if you don't want to find Free Willy, well, I'll see you when I get back. This is why it's called manifestation. I got an area in my home. I used to call it a man cave. And then one day I said, man, I done manifested stuff out of this room. So I call it a manifestation station because words are very powerful. And what you put in the atmosphere, we serve a God that'll put it back in front of you. It's a rapid return, it's a boomerang effect. So take your time. Don't be in a rush. It's a marathon. It may not happen overnight, but it'll happen over time because Rome wasn't built in a day. However, it was still built.
Yep.
And
How
you'll
can
and
Cordero? How can the people reach you?
Look me up on Facebook as Cordero Roland. On IG is Cordero underscore the chosen one. And then I'm on all other platforms, TikTok, Snapchat, and then let's connect. Let's work. And thank you, Derek, and you powerful kings, because I love being around great men who got a high value mind. And I learned a lot just from listening to y'all. So I appreciate y'all as well. I'm a student always.
same here, man. We learned a lot
Same
from you.
here. Oh yeah.
Definitely from you and Sean. Y'all brought the heat. Everything that y'all saying is definitely relevant and prevalent to everything that we're talking about today. And Dirk, like he says, when he got somebody coming on, they always come with fire. I've never seen anyone that he put on here stagnant and acted like, they didn't know what they were talking about. They actually almost took over the show.
Okay. And with that, man, we can never do an episode without giving a shout out to Coach Deborah Smith. Her book, Build Your Best Life. This platform that she has built is touching many lives and creating many opportunities. So I
Mhm.
always want to say thank you, Coach Deborah, for this opportunity of being a host, being a part of this monthly, and really getting the message out through your leadership. And I just want to say thank you so much also to Pastor Ricardo Miller and what he brings to this platform behind the scenes. You don't see him, but you see him. Uh, and he has so much impact with this. Also, Deacon Dan and
Right.
Dr. Levette, who are normally here, um, they had to do some stuff with their families, take care of their personal business. But we look forward to next month. Next month, December the 13th, the same time, same channel. Please show up and be ready to use your two ears and hold on to that one mouth, man, and really get you some valuable information. This has been another episode of Build Your Best Life Conversation with the Guys. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. Look forward to seeing you next month.